Hi, welcome to Eve's Creative Laboratory. I'm Eve, and today I'm going to start a new project. I just ordered this kit from Jordan Fabrics, and I've had several kits that I've ordered in the past from them, and they're great. They come with the instructions. It comes with all of the items that you'll need to make this quilt top. You have to buy your own backing, but the kit comes with everything you need to make the patchwork on the top and the borders that they show in the picture. And so this came with this pattern called Radiant, and I really liked the colors of this pattern, so that's why I ordered it. So the fabric that came with this is 20 fat quarters in Iris Garden, and Jordan Fabrics is owned by Donna Jordan and Matt, her husband, and he cuts all of these really great fabric kits. So this is in like purples and blues, and here are the fabrics that it came with for the borders and the binding, and I think it's just so pretty. So I'm going to start this project today. The backing that I chose is this print. I had to order it separately, but on their website, they have all of the coordinating fabrics right there listed, so you can choose which one you want that will coordinate perfectly, and then the pattern tells you how much yardage you need for the backing. So I'm gonna get started on ironing this and cutting it. So I had to switch out my sewing machine because I wasn't happy with how my Viking was doing the patchwork. So my Singer does patchwork really well, and the Viking has a really good walking foot, so it's better for multiple layers of fabric. So I'm going to finish doing the patchwork with this one, and then when I start sewing everything together, I'll switch out again for my Viking. Okay, I finished strip piecing all of these blocks with the 3 squares. So next I'm going to cut these apart, and I'm going to iron them flat because I want them to be super accurate when I stitch on the other 2 side pieces. So let me cut these, and then I will iron and be back. Okay, I'm back. It's the next day. It's morning now. And yesterday when I was going through my videos, I noticed a few things. So first of all, this is my laboratory, and I realized that I had not established a hypothesis for my experiment today. So I'm gonna give that today if I follow this lovely pattern by Cozy Quilt Designs called Radiant, using the bundle that I bought from Jordan Fabrics. Then I will end up with a beautiful and lovely quilt that I can keep for myself, because recently I've been making lots of quilts, but I've been making them for other people. And I realized I felt left out, and I wanted a quilt for myself that I can just keep on the couch and my kids won't steal from me, because it will be mine that I made. Also, I wanted to show some of the pretty colors that are in this kit, and I finished sewing all of the patchwork and I've ironed everything. So I have all of the, that's not true. I still need to sew these together and cut them, but all of the initial sewing has been complete. And I love these colors so much. These are some of the colors. Look how pretty that purple is. So there's lots of different purples. Here's a darker one. And look at the pattern. It's so watercolory and pretty. I love it. My favorite one is this. It has purple, blue, and kind of pinkish. This is my favorite fat quarter. I love that color. So that's the squares with the dark center. Then I made a bunch of squares with the light outer border. So this is a blue. I like that color. My favorite blue is this one. It has some pinks and lavender in there. Isn't that pretty? Let's see. There. I love those color combinations. Here's a little bit of a more lavender blue in the center. And here's the light one. This is just a lighter blue, watercolory. So I have to sew these together. These are squares. Then I combine the squares with the light border with the squares with the dark center, and I make half square triangles with them. And that is what makes these cool blocks. So I'm gonna stitch those up today, and I think I'm gonna do that off camera because I noticed that it's a little repetitive watching me do every single step. So I'm gonna do that off camera. When I have the finished blocks, I will probably show me sewing those together in rows, and then I'm gonna cut the border fabrics, and I'll do that very briefly. So I'll be back. I'm done making all my half square triangles for the top. I think it came out really good. I love those colors together. So I laid it out. The pattern is a little bit different because these two columns in the pattern is actually 3 columns facing this way. And then it has 4 columns facing this other way. But I kind of like the center over here a little bit further to the left, so I'm only going to do the first 2 columns facing that way. And then I also cut the border strips. So this is the first border, middle border, and the outside border. And I am also going to cut the binding strips and make that up. So I'm going to sew these together in rows. So I'm going to sew all the rows together like this. And then I'm going to attach all the rows together to make the top. And I'm going to press it before I start adding the binding on. So I'm going to do that next. So as you can see, I finished the top of the quilt and I sewed the borders on, and I also trimmed the edges down. So after I sewed the borders on and I sandwiched the quilt, I basted the edge of the top fabric to the quilt sandwich. I try to do that. I've learned to do that right along the edge within a 1/4 inch of where it's going to be trimmed off at the edge, so that when I sew the binding on, I don't have to cover it and I never have to take anything out. But what I wanted to show you is that I'm setting up to sew the strips together to make the binding, and this, for whatever reason, was very confusing to me at first when I started, and I sewed them backwards a lot. So now I'm using this batik, and batiks, typically, I think all batiks are basically the same on the front and the back, so they have no direction to them. Fabrics that do have a front and a back, you have to be very careful about how you sew it for making the binding. But so I've already cut my strips, and so I have a pile of my strips right here, and I'm pinning them together now, because once I pin them together, I'm going to draw a chalk line across where I'm going to sew them, and then stitch them together and then press them. So I'm just pinning them together right now so I know how they go. So you want to pin them right sides together. And so I have that done here. So from the top layer right here, the right side is going to be on the bottom. So I'm just going to move along here, the rest of the strip. So the right side is on the bottom. So now I'm going to flip it over so the right side is on the top. And then I take the next strip of fabric and I'm going to put it right side down so that the right sides are together. And I overlap them so that there's a little bit sticking out on the edges there, because these have selvages at the end. I haven't cut the selvages off yet, and I cut them off when I trim this binding piece. So now I'm gonna just pin them so that I know where I'm supposed to be marking them in that step. So let me just finish doing this, and then I'll show you how I mark them. All right, I'm done pinning all of my strips together. Now I'm gonna mark them with a chalk pencil so that I know where to stitch. So I just use a ruler, and I'm gonna go from corner to corner. Can you see that? I'm just using a white chalk pencil. Okay, now I'm gonna sew. That's done. Now I'm gonna press it. I'm finished with my quilt. It came out wonderful. I love the colors. I did the binding and it came out really good. All corners came out pretty good. And I'm leaving the safety pins in the squares because I plan to hand quilt later. I ordered a lap hand quilting frame on Amazon, and that's gonna come later this week, I think. And I want to try some sashiko type stitching in it. So that's gonna be a future video. But for now, this video is done. For my summary and conclusion about the Radiant Quilt experiment, I think it turned out great. It was a success. So if you also order a quilt bundle kit from Jordan Fabrics, I think it will be successful too. It was really great. I love the colors, the way it came out, and it's really, really soft. And I was unsure about binding at first because I have not quilted it yet. I only left the basting safety pins in there. I was thinking about machine quilting it, but I decided that I want to try sashiko stitching to hand quilt it, and I've never hand quilted before, so that's going to be a future experiment. I also have some other ideas that I want to experiment with as well. And as of the recording of this video, I have 2 subscribers already. So will you please like and subscribe to my channel so that my channel can grow? Mom, why are you being so cringy? I do what I want, okay?